Today we're gonna compare the iPhone 11 versus the OnePlus 7 Pro, and on my OnePlus I'm still waiting on an update since March 2019. Maybe it's because I got the T-Mobile version, but anyways, the OnePlus does have 3 cameras on the back, whereas on iPhone it's only 2. So let's see how all this compares. So this is the low light test of the front facing camera, and this is how it looks like when you're at night in the city. So this is basically a tourist attraction, so there's a lot of people, a lot of buildings, and a lot of lights. So yeah, let's move on to the next section. With my portrait mode experience, hands down the winner will be iPhone 11. To get the effect, both of these phones you have to move around until the phone recognizes the object or the person. Usually for objects, it's so hard to get the effect to work on the OnePlus 7 Pro. I feel like I'm using too much effort to move around to get the effect to work, and by that point, I just don't even want to take the picture anymore. Whereas on the iPhone, it picks up really simple things like trees and poles really quickly. Another thing I don't like about the portrait mode on OnePlus 7 Pro is that it's so zoomed in. And the biggest con is that you can't really use it in everyday situations. For example, if you want to take a picture of something in your hands, it's way too zoomed in. Or if you want to take a picture of your friend across the dinner table, then most likely you will just probably see their face. The only pro I can think of from the OnePlus 7 Pro portrait mode is that the background is actually compressed, so you do get that portrait lens look. For everyday situations, they both got their ultra wide angle lens, the regular lens, and the OnePlus 7 Pro does have a telephoto lens. So if you like taking ultra wide angle pictures, then the iPhone is the better choice because it's much wider. Now going into the telephoto lens area with the OnePlus 7 Pro, comparing these two side by side, it's not a huge difference. Yes, the OnePlus 7 Pro telephoto lens may be a little bit cleaner and sharper, but to be honest, I'm comparing it to also the Honor, the Huawei, and the Oppo telephoto lenses, and from my experience, the difference between those are way bigger than the one from the OnePlus. Because usually when I compare them with the telephoto lenses, the iPhone looks way digitized and it doesn't look as clean, whereas right now with the OnePlus 7 Pro, these images look so close to each other, and sometimes I even think the iPhone may even look better when you're zooming in. So at the end of the day, the telephoto lenses may be better on the OnePlus, but the difference is very small. For the camera experience, the iPhone does feel way smoother, whereas on the OnePlus, after I take a picture, it feels like it's buffering, so you do get that slight lag. It's very small and not noticeable for everyday occasions, but since I'm taking pictures next to the iPhone, that's something that I realize. Now moving on to low light on the telephoto side for the OnePlus, it's actually better because you can see way less noise. Now for the ultra wide angle lens, this is where the OnePlus craps out. Because when you point it at a light source, you can see the streaks, the lens flare doesn't look that good, and it kind of ruins the whole image. So the main camera on the OnePlus 7 Pro performs the best during nighttime. The colors on the OnePlus is more on the neutral side, and it's just enough contrast to make the picture pop. So from my experience, I would try to stay with the main camera lens and try to avoid the ultra wide angle lens and the telephoto lens during nighttime. Now for nightscape or night mode experience, I would just go straight for the iPhone. Because my biggest concern about the OnePlus night mode is that when I'm done taking a picture, it says completed, it's optimizing. So I thought that I can move, but after when I'm done looking at the pictures, it's blurry. So I know that I have to wait until it's completely done, until the words are all gone, then I can move. So for me, I feel like they should change the wording on that. And taking a look at these differences, they're not even really big. Versus the iPhone, you can at least tell some sort of big difference, or the darker spots are actually way brighter. So from the really slow nightscape experience from the OnePlus, I would honestly just stick with the main camera mode. Now moving on to 4K video, I can't believe it, but I'm actually seeing some micro jitters on the OnePlus during daytime, which is rare because I don't even see this often at all unless it's nighttime. But for stabilization, it does look like it's more stable than an iPhone. But the micro jitters during daytime really kills me because as I'm looking at text and stuff, it's become blurry, so the overall image quality on an iPhone is way sharper. Both of these phones can shoot 4K 60, and a clear winner for me is the iPhone. It's clearly stabilized, whereas on the OnePlus it's not. The biggest con for me for the iPhone is that as I'm looking around, it really changes the white balance aggressively. But for the overall colors, the OnePlus do represents the colors really naturally and close to the eye. Here's another con for the OnePlus is that you cannot shoot video on the ultra wide angle lens, whereas you can on the iPhone. And of course you can go up to 4K 60 on that as well. So if you do shoot a lot of video and want quality, then iPhone is going to be the better choice. For low light, there's no surprise that there are going to be a lot of micro jitters on the OnePlus. So the overall image quality is going to be really blurry, so I honestly would not even use the video camera on the OnePlus at nighttime. Now moving on to 4K 60, even though there's no micro jitters, it's not even worth it. There's too many noise, too many artifacts, the colors are good, but yeah, just don't use video at nighttime. So for a camera phone, I would definitely pick the iPhone 11.
the OnePlus camera is just not as good, or it's not as enjoyable to use. Now for a regular phone, it's perfectly fine because it's really budget friendly and offers a lot of really good specs. It has my favorite Android UI, and it's a phone I would recommend to a lot of my friends, but as a camera, as a dedicated camera phone, it's something I would tell them to skip. So if you are interested in any of these products, I do have links down below. Please follow me on Instagram, give a like, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.